I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Welcome back. Oops, the podcast. I'm Francis. This is Julio.
Yo, yo, yo.
Let's make it a good one today.
Let's do it.
I feel good. I've got good energy. I've got good vibes.
You got a little Maine in you?
Man,
You got some Maine in the blood?
I was told that it looks good on me.
Maine looks good on you?
I come back from Maine looking better.
Hilarious.
It's the right amount of sun, right amount of swimming, dog play, seafood, rolling around in the grass, all of that. That restores me. It's good.
I like it, dude. I'm jealous.
What's up with you, man? What's happening?
I mean, I wish, I need a weekend like that, I think. I've been sort of just in the city doing it up, doing a lot of comedy, staying up too late, sleeping not that great, generally not feeling as energized and healthy as I'd like to. So I got to fucking whip it back into gear,
Let me ask you something. Do you think that you have a purpose in life on this world?
Whoa, yeah, Jesus. Maybe, but like not a purpose that goes beyond whatever are my own direct sort of my direct agenda. You know what I mean?
So you wouldn't say mystically that your purpose is to entertain others or in some way twist it to say that, yeah, you're living in the service of others or anything like that?
Yeah, I would say that my purpose is about me, by me, for the me, by the me. That is my purpose. I don't feel that there's you were put on this planet to do this, Julio.
I think that's fine.
Are you feeling that way?
No. I don't think it's arrogant. In fact, you might even be able to say that it is less arrogant or less narcissistic to say that my purpose is just to get through my day, to try to be the best person I can be for me, for my own sake. And
totally. Yeah, you're right. There's sort of this idea that you are like this delusion. If you think you have some greater purpose, it's more offensive than just being like selfishly, my purpose is to make myself happy.
Yeah. Well, then here's another question that follows. Do you ever think about your legacy?
Yeah, I do.
What shape does that take?
Well, it's funny, dude. I don't know if this is a function of just watching things and maybe and like relating to them, but have you watched the Untold episode about Marty Fish yet?
Yes, I did. I am loving this Netflix series.
It's good.
It is spectacular.
I watched the hockey one after you.
Did you like the hockey one?
It was great. Yeah.
So good. And then because of that, I watched the Marty Fish.
Yeah. It took place like probably 40 minutes away from me, the hockey one too. So it was like from where I went to high school and stuff. Mm-hmm. The Marty Fish one. So sometimes I can't help but watch the Marty Fish thing and be like, I'm the guy who like, I'm not the Roddick. I'm the Marty Fish.
Can you give a brief synopsis?
Yeah, so the Marty Fish doc, it's about a tennis player, very, very talented. I remember when I was playing juniors, he was like number one in the country, number one in New England. Like he was a few years older than me. And he and Andy Roddick ended up becoming these great American tennis players. Roddick was sort of great, faster, and then Marty, when he hit around 30 years old, sort of hit his stride. And then he sort of discovered this like crippling anxiety, and it really like affected his performance. And I don't relate to it in that way, but sometimes I'm like, I'm just like not a killer, dude. You know what I mean? I'm not willing to do whatever it takes. Like I'm like, if somebody comes in hot with like a much harder, like I'm much more likely to sort of like defer to the strong personality sometimes. And I'm kind of like, dude, stop being a bitch. Like that's sort of my.
Yeah, but life is not some natural world struggle for supremacy. It's not about you entering a room like some deer and thinking that's the biggest buck, I gotta go lock horns with him, or else my ability to procreate, my ability to feed myself, my world is in jeopardy.
But in comedy, you sort of have to like, it's helpful to sort of like shamelessly put yourself and jump in front of the spotlight, as opposed to sort of doing it with finesse, or you know what I mean? You can kind of just like get left in the dust. I don't know.
So then does that mean that your legacy you are hoping will be a lasting, enduring Madison Square Garden level legacy?
I don't know. I just hope that, I find that sometimes it kind of like takes me a little longer to like sink my teeth into stuff, but that I eventually do. And I hope that ends up being true, and that I don't look back and be like, man, I wish I put myself out there more, or I wish I like stole the spotlight more, or you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what my legacy will be, but I always worry that it's not going to be the legacy I'd hoped for.
Okay, so then separate your professional legacy from your legacy as Julio the man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hopefully they're two different legacies. Do you have an idea of what your legacy, what you would hope for it to be to your grandchildren?
Oh, I mean, no, I haven't really thought about that.
Really?
I feel like that,
because you should think about that.
Why? Why?
Because
should I
that
think
will
about
that will make you live a better life, and it will allow you to be happier with who you are on a more local level.
Okay, well, let's clarify some things though. I'm happy with who I am. Like I'm not like, I don't want you to mistake what I just said before as me wishing I was something else. Like, of course, it's easy to critique oneself and try to improve, but I have no problem being me. I like being me. And I don't feel like I need to sort of shift the focus from myself onto the next of kin in order to like be free of this burden of hoping like of never being enough.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to just focus on me and not worry about those little shits who are to come.
No, but okay. My reason in saying that is that sometimes I think about the movie Saving Private Ryan, right?
Mm-hmm.
You seen that?
I have not.
Have you not?
I have not. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen it probably 10 times.
I've been meaning to see it forever and just have never gotten to it.
All right, well then maybe I won't make this point.
But if everyone else has seen it, and I'm sure I'll be able to relate to whatever you're talking about.
Well, I don't want to spoil the movie for you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
Okay, well, let's just say that there is a character in the movie, and this doesn't give anything away, I'll be very careful, who is at a grave site in a cemetery, and he's looking at the grave of someone he used to know, and it's
an important character in the
well,
movie.
it doesn't give anything away. This is the first scene of the movie. First scene of the movie, and obviously lots of time has passed, and then they flash back in time again, not giving anything away. And he's surrounded by his grandchildren and his wife and his kids, and obviously the movie sort of talks about or shows what he did in the war and what they did in the war, and it's the battles, the heroism, the courage,
the saving of Private Ryan.
Yeah, sure, all of that, absolutely, and the victories and defeats and everything. And yet, that war ended when this guy was maybe a 22-year-old man, right?
Right.
23. And then he lived another 60 years, 65 years or whatever. And that period is where he established his legacy far more than what he may have done in a couple of years in battle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to take anything away from him or anyone in the military, but it goes to show that, I mean, unless you become a 4-star general or you win the Medal of Honor, what you accomplish professionally may or may not contribute to your legacy as much as your what you do as a father or what you do as a husband or a grandfather. I think about
they're different. No, but they're potentially different things. Like your legacy to everyone versus your legacy to your family. Because
but again, I think of them. I do think of them as two different things. But I also think that you can have a brilliant legacy. You can be remembered incredibly fondly without having risen to the highest point of your field.
Right. Yeah.
My grandfather is ailing.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing well. Did I tell you that?
You have, yeah.
I've mentioned this? Yeah. And I think about him and the impact that he's had on my life. You know, first of all, I only met my grandfather when he was already 60 years old.
Right. Isn't that a crazy thing? You only typically know your grandparents.
Yeah, and you
when
wouldn't
they're
even be
old.
able to say that because I only became conscious of the type of man he was when I was like 5.
Yeah.
Or later. So by the time I met him, he was retired from legacy building.
He's a senior citizen.
He had retired from defining his life based on his work,
Mm-hmm.
right? All of that was behind him. And yeah, you hear stories, but when you're a young kid, you don't give a shit about, you know, I'm not impressed by, oh, he built a little company, whatever, you know, again, unless he's like the president or a famous actor or something. So the legacy that I carry of my grandfather is the grandfather I knew in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and his interactions with us at Thanksgiving or Christmas, or the way that he advised my dad through his professional life and what I've heard about that. And I think what I'm trying to say is that as you prepare to depart the world, you might realize that that legacy is far more important than what you may have accomplished
Mm-hmm.
as a professional.
Right. Yeah, no, totally. And I think that you just made the argument for why it's important to have a family. You know what I mean? Because you might be crushing it so hard in your life and you don't have time for family. Then all of a sudden you get all old and fucking.
Yeah, but
What do you got?
you did that to me.
But I don't feel that
You
way.
said that to me once.
I don't feel that way though.
You do remember you saying that?
What did I say?
You said you don't want to die alone.
Yeah, you're right. I do not.
Because I said I don't know if I want to have kids.
Oh.
And you said, but when you get old, you get to a certain point where you don't want to be alone.
Right. And dude, there's a lot of arguments for, you know, a dear friend of mine is her mother is like not doing too hot and I don't think she's too in touch with her father. And like she was saying, she's like, thank God I have a brother. She's like, this is such a strong argument for why having 2 or more kids can have value. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's part of that thought, like what you're saying, like you get to a certain age. Yeah. And what do you have in your life? And I'm starting to understand more and more why grandparents are so obsessed with grandchildren. Like they're just fucking old and like you can't do much. You can't even move around that easily. You know what I mean? Like, but then you can see this like youth that is part of your lineage and it's just it must be so satisfying. You know, even if they think you smell weird and shit, like, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so I, you know, part of me, and I've been talking about this a little bit too with, you know, my girlfriend, we're just kind of just talking about kids and stuff, you know what I mean? Just kind of like, sort of, you know, frankly being like, all right, like there's a realistic timeline for all this stuff. And I kind of want to put it off for as long as I can in theory, because there's so much stuff that I want to do that for some reason I've decided I can't do when I have the kids. But I guess you just got to like attack that when it comes. But that doesn't mean that I don't want them. So then she'll be like, do you just not want to have kids? I'm like, no, I definitely do. But I just wish that there was a perfect way to do it. And it appears that maybe there is not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
You know?
I don't know that there is a switch that flips for everyone where all of a sudden you say, okay, my days of, you know, schlepping around India or Haiti and doing these crazy adventures are behind me. I'm ready for a kid and, you know, weekends spent playing catch in the yard. But some people, there is that switch.
Yeah.
I know that I believe my brother-in-law just got to a point in his life where all of a sudden he said, I want a family and I want kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then he met my sister and that all happened very quickly.
Yeah. And here we are.
I was at their wedding this past weekend.
Surprise, surprise.
I promise to our listeners that I will not talk about a wedding for more than 3 minutes of this episode. I'm going to cap myself. We are not a wedding
Starting the
podcast.
timer, starting the timer.
We may seem like a wedding podcast. It's simply because we've been going to so many weddings. I've been going to a wedding every single weekend. But this one was very different. It was my sister, her husband. They were supposed to have it two Mays ago. So when that got postponed, they said, we don't care about doing this in the right order. They got legally married, and then they had a beautiful child, my niece Hayes, and then they had this big party where it was still their wedding, you know. They had an officiant and they exchanged vows and we witnessed it and it was amazing, but it was so low key. There were only 50 people.
That's really nice.
It was at our house in
Intimate.
Maine.
Love it.
I spoke at the ceremony and it was the best speech I've done.
Really?
Buddy,
Killed it?
can I tell you the joke I opened with?
Sure.
And let me
Please.
set the stage a little bit. So other people had spoken during the ceremony, and because it was such a smaller wedding, it was kind of like there were a lot of older people there, a lot of my parents' friends. My parents invited a lot of friends. So it was kind of an older fashioned party where it was like, well, these are our friends and different generation, whatever. They invited a lot of my parents' friends and then all my sister's friends. And so there's not the same sticking to the script of weddings that you might typically find, where the wedding planner says, you're speaking, this is the order, we're going to choreograph the way that people walk down the aisle.
The fall leaves are falling as
Yeah.
the violin plays.
Yeah. And it all, you got to be here at this time, put your bow ties on at this time, 15 minutes later, we're taking the bus, half an hour after that, pictures, whatever. None of that. It was just so much more free flowing and chill. And most of that's because my sister and her husband just didn't care that much. They're 10 steps beyond this.
Yeah.
But still a stunning wedding. Maine in early September, our house on the water, just amazing. And, for me, so much less stressful. One, the cheapest wedding I've ever attended.
Amazing.
I slept in my own bed for free.
Thank God.
All my meals paid for, nothing. My parents paid for my flights, which was really nice.
Huge.
It was awesome. It was just amazing. So, but here's the joke. So at the ceremony, people were standing up to talk who had not been asked to speak. Like my grandmother gave a toast,
Sheesh.
which was nice,
Yeah.
but it's just it's different from the format that I've been accustomed to, which is you have been chosen a month, months
Yeah.
ahead of time to speak. It's
You-
you and then this person, and that's
You
that's
have your
it.
own bullet point that is written
Yeah,
on a program that has been printed out.
come prepared and don't exceed 5 minutes. But my grandmother speaks. Then my parents opened, thanked everyone. Then my grandmother. Then the best man spoke, and then my brother-in-law's sister spoke, and they both the best man and my brother-in-law's sister did long speeches.
Mhm.
They were lovely, but they were long and heartfelt and all of that, and kind of earnest. And so by the time it was my turn to speak, I was the last speaker. The energy had dipped a little.
Okay.
The first joke I came out and said was, I'm Francis, brother to Lyndon. I am the son of my parents, first of his name, king of the Andals and the Seven Kingdoms or whatever. Game of Thrones reference, a little bit of a laugh.
Solid.
Then I said, when I first met my brother-in-law, he, I knew him as this 6'4" West Point graduate. Or no, I didn't do that. That was my stand-up bit. But I said, it's so nice to have a doctor in the family. My main man, the first person I would FaceTime if I discovered a lump on my penis.
You said that?
I said that to the entire wedding.
Did you look at your sister to make sure that went over okay?
So here's what you'll appreciate.
That's fucking
The
insane.
original joke I'd written was the first person I would FaceTime if I fell down the stairs. I watched as the speeches brought the energy down a little. And that's nothing against them. It was just when you're sitting around you for a long time, things start to slide. And that as I was sitting there, I said, I need to
We gotta spruce up that
I'm
joke a
going
bit.
to come out with I'm going to swing.
Dude, I love it.
I'm going to defibrillate the
Gary
audience.
Sheffield over here, dude.
And I have enough confidence as a comedy writer to know that even if that joke had not gone well and nobody had laughed, I would have been able to get them back.
Dude, that is risky as fuck. We've talked about this before, how bombing a family wedding speech can really have tough consequences.
Mm-hmm.
That was risky,
Mm-hmm.
but it sounds like it worked out.
People sat up. You saw people readjust in their seats and lean forward. And the laugh went from
Was it a good laugh?
the laughs went from that polite sort of like back of the throat, oh, that was a joke, this is my courteous response laugh, to laughs of surprise, shock, enjoyment.
Okay.
And then from there I had written this thing, and it was set up punchline, joke, and then earnest, thoughtful, love my sister, joke, love my sister, and did both of them. 4 minutes. The first thing I said, I took the mic and I said, I've got 4 minutes, and then then they were a little bit happier because of that. I was like, this is it, and then we're dancing, and I did this, and people, I mean, it was, dude, I brought it home. I brought it home.
So somebody emailed us asking about a best man speech and what they should do. The format that he just listed is probably exactly what you need to do. Joke, earnest, whatever you just said, that can be applied to any wedding speech.
I'm sorry to plug the Patreon, but today I actually wrote a 5-point guide on how to write a great wedding speech.
Perfect.
I'll give those summary points right now. It's very simple. Number 1, keep it short. Okay? You do not want to go over 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Unless you're like the father of the bride, even the best man, 5 minutes, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
5 minutes. 2, unless you're a seasoned comedian, don't make vulgar jokes.
Yes.
Okay?
Agreed.
Number 3, print your speech on paper. Do not read it off your phone.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's really solid.
That is a huge one. You have, by going from reading off your phone, which is what a lot of people do now, up there, to reading it off of a paper, it just elevates the elegance of your speech.
Big
and
time.
also the respect that
Big time.
almost seems like you're more prepared.
Totally.
And it's easier to read a line from your speech written on your paper and then look out at the audience more. Whereas with your phone, you're glued to it.
Yeah.
The text is small. It's harder to like get out of it and look
It
at
looks
the
like you
audience.
didn't fucking try.
Yeah.
Even if you did.
Yep.
It's you did all the hard work and now you're cheapening what you're doing by
Yep.
reading off your phone.
4, keep it about them, not about you. If you go through your speech and you see that something like 50% of the sentences start with I first met John. I went to college with them.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Nix it.
If you play a role in their lives, great, that's fine, but don't keep it about them. And then finally, last point is end sentimental.
Yeah.
End sentimental, something nice, something heartfelt about how wonderful they are, whatever it is. That's you should always end sentimental instead of funny.
Very solid.
Those are my 5 points.
Very solid.
Okay, that's weddings.
Knocked it out of the park. Well done.
That's weddings for today.
Pause for a sec. Wait, how
Did I talk about that for 9 minutes? Damn you, Chris. I knew I wasn't going to be able to. I think transitioning.
We had to say it. We had to call it out.
I do think that wedding speech tips is a little. adjacent to
Listen,
just
dude,
recapping weddings.
You were
This is
just
what I
at your
typically
fucking
do.
sister's wedding. You're allowed to talk about it. All right. You don't got to apologize. We found a lot of good nuance in wedding material,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there's plenty more to come. So
It was
don't you feel
awesome.
bad, pal.
It was really special seeing what it meant to my parents. And it also, last thing, it felt like my mom had been preparing our house for 27 years for this moment.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
all the gardening, all the trimming of trees and bushes and painting and different whatever, everything led to this
Everything
moment.
was perfect.
The house hit its prime.
Love it.
The property hit its prime on wedding day.
It's very dope, dude.
And it took 27 years to get there. We moved when I was 4.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. When you travel to visit your family, do you bring your toothbrush with you?
Yeah.
You bring your home toothbrush, or do you have an extra travel toothbrush?
Do I have an away toothbrush?
Yeah.
I bring my home toothbrush, but it's bulky. So it's annoying. I mean, I guess a year ago I switched to an electric toothbrush.
Solid.
So before that I had been a manual guy, but the dentist said that I was so violently brushing my teeth that I was wearing away at my gums.
Yeah, same.
And so he said I should switch to an electric.
So do the gums regenerate eventually, or like not really,
I
right?
think it's like
You're fucked.
I think it's like the cliffs at sea. There's an erosion there, and it's
I have some
never coming
recession,
back.
dude. I'm worried. It stresses me out a little bit. But dude, I too have switched to an electric toothbrush. Quip,
Yeah,
our new favorite toothbrush.
you're rocking the Quip, huh?
Here on Oops the Podcast, dude.
Yeah, we love the Quip.
You got to switch to a smart toothbrush, especially because I used to just rip my gums apart brushing so fucking hard, thinking that I could like do everything I needed to do by brushing hard, which was, it's like the equivalent of not moving your feet and playing tennis, dude. You got to get on the smart toothbrush game. It will sort of shuts you down when you start brushing too hard. And with the Quip, they're actually like built-in incentives,
Oh, really?
which is crazy. Yeah, you earn daily points for brushing for 2 minutes twice a day, and you can earn bonus points for challenges like streaks, and it turns into like a little game.
Whoa.
It has really like unleashed the boy in me, dude.
Are there rewards?
Yeah, $2,500 bathroom makeover sweepstakes, $1,500 grand prize, Lowe's and West Elm gift cards, $5 refill credits and discounts. Dude, it's nuts. $5 Target gift cards. Dude, it's amazing.
This is way better than the Kumon math incentives that I used to
Dude, yeah.
fight for when I did their damn worksheets.
Dude, it's no joke. They also have a bunch of different products, you know, floss, toothpaste, everything you could really want. So you should start getting rewards for brushing your teeth today. Go to getquip.com/oops right now. Save $10 on a Quip Smart Electric Toothbrush. That's $10 off a smart electric toothbrush at getquip.com/oops. Quip, the good habits company.
Wow. Okay. I have some thoughts really quick. So first of all, you know, when I was a kid, the only reward program related to dental health was when you would lose teeth and the tooth fairy would place a silver dollar under your pillow.
Yeah.
Which made me think, you know, the faster I lose my teeth, the better. So I didn't want to brush my teeth. One of them just fall out like, you know, little Tic Tacs. But that's the first thing. And secondly, did you ever do Kumon math?
Never.
Do you know what that is?
Yes. KUMON.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to do that. And they had a thing where it was like you would do all the worksheets, each worksheet gave you some kind of credit. And if you built up enough credits, you could buy, you know, theoretically buy prizes. But their
that's fun.
prizes were good. They had these Power Ranger card packs. They had like little
fire.
Lego sets. I don't know if this is true of every Kumon Math Center, but man, I used to fight tooth and nail to get through those worksheets so I could buy my
You
little
getting some nice
prizes.
stuff. Dude, that's nice, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. I remember with teeth, I remember in school, my teachers would pull them out of your fucking mouth. Like when you had a loose tooth, they would rip it out of your mouth for you. And that was like a fun thing. Like there was our second grade teacher at Burr School used to pull them out of your fucking mouth for you. And she was known. So any grade you were in where that was applicable, where like you were losing your teeth and getting new ones, like because you were young enough for that, you'd go to her, she'd rip it out. It's crazy. That would not fly today. I feel
Oh
like.
my gosh. No, I don't think that would, to be honest with you.
Dude, did I ever tell you about the tutor prank I did?
I'm not sure.
We did a funny prank. I talked about this once. It was a long time ago. So I'll just give
refresh our memory.
It's pretty good, especially as a tutor. I think you would appreciate this. So there's like a tutor company, and they were wearing a T-shirt and everything. You know how that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the prank was, and this was on this prank show I did on MTV years ago. The prank was the tutor comes over and they start tutoring this kid. The kid is a man though, so like they're like, all right, come out, Johnny, and it's just this grown man, and now they're like tutoring this really bad man. Who's acting like he's in high school. It's just like weird and unclear what the fuck's going on. But the last stage of the prank, the kid goes to the bathroom and all of a sudden you hear some commotion from like behind the couch, and the tutor goes behind the couch, and there I am wearing a tutoring T-shirt, but I'm tied up. Have a bandana in my mouth. I'm like, woo. Dude, it was so fucking good.
That is a good one.
That was like one of the better ones we did.
That's
people
great.
got freaked the fuck out.
That's really good.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking funny.
Nice.
Good shit.
I when I ran that tutoring company, that I started, the little one, I had a friend, all my friends were really good at math, and I would sort of give them some freelance work where I wouldn't even take a cut of what they were making, but I'd say, hey, I got a student who needs just 4 sessions to help with, pre-calc or figuring out how to differentiate a graph or something like that. And they knew, and they would go in and they would just work through it with these kids. But one time I got hit up by this girl, this woman who was, I think she was studying for her GMATs or something like that. So she was in her mid-20s, and she needed help with one specific math thing that was very advanced. It was graduate school math. And I had a buddy who was brilliant math kid, and I said, do you want to do this? And he said, sure. So he went, and they had one session, and tutoring is pretty intimate.
Yeah.
You're sitting together at a desk,
Yeah.
under a lamp, working over things. Fortunately, all my students were like 13, so there was never anything weird, or obviously it was whatever, fine. But if you had set me up to tutor a 25-year-old girl,
Yeah.
Someone who was 2 or 3 years older than me or my age, in her apartment, that can be a recipe for a little heat.
That could turn into piano lesson part 2.
Yeah,
dude.
well, let me tell you
Never
something.
forget.
My buddy started picking up on this, and they finished their session, and then he left, and then she started texting him, and it went from topic-based material to sort of more like her being like, man, I got so wasted last night,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're both adults, and then she said something like, what are you up to tonight? And he was like, I don't know, not much, just chilling. And she said, like, you want to come over?
Did he?
And he went over, and they had sex with each other.
Amazing. Dude, amazing.
I never had that, though.
Dude, you know what happens to me,
It
dude?
never happened to me.
You know what happens to me?
What?
I will get DMs from people I used to teach tennis to when they were children who are now adults, and it starts to go in that direction. And then I shut it down because I have a girlfriend. But like a girl who, like, I teach these people when they were 15 or 16, and I was, in my 20s or whatever. And now, years go by, they somehow catch wind of my Instagram or whatever, and then DM, oh my God, remember, ha ha ha. Like, nice conversation. And then by like 10 p.m., it's like, where are you?
Really?
And sometimes it can get weird. Like sometimes like they get embarrassed and then we never talk again. But that's happened to me like a few times. It's just funny how, when you're in a situation like that dynamic, like you said, if the age makes sense, it can turn into a sexual dynamic very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure a lot of those kids had crushes on you when you were teaching them tennis.
Yeah, presumably. Yeah. And then, because that's just what happens. That's my tennis pro.
Gee, you know what I had for breakfast this morning?
What'd you have?
Nothing.
Why?
The day just started too quickly, and I had to go work, and I did not have time to eat anything.
I know you don't do well in that sort of.
Ruined me for the morning.
Dude, you got to hit your magic spoon,
That's
man.
all I needed. All I needed was to wolf down a bowl of the delicious Magic Spoon cereal, and I would have been fine.
A healthy, fibrous homage to your childhood.
Yeah, instead I was ornery and sullen and volatile to everyone around me.
Dude, 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net carbs in each serving, only 140 calories per serving, keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, all of that. And you can build your own box with the available flavors to build your very own custom
What
bundle.
are the flavors? What do they got?
Cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, maple waffle. Cookies and cream and maple waffle used to be temporary, like special flavors, and now they are permanent.
Yeah, they're in there.
Get in there, get some. Go to magicspoon.com/oops to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code OOPS at checkout to save $5 off of your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/oops, promo code OOPS, $5 off. Dude, so I went to that 9/11 comedy benefit.
Yeah.
And I was backstage. It was great. Our buddy Pete
Must
put
be
it
nice.
on. Yeah, it was cool.
Must be
So I'll tell you what,
nice.
dude, it's actually not that nice. At first it is. The first time you're backstage at a big event and there's all these big comedians there, you feel really cool. You know what I mean? But eventually, if you do it enough, and I'm sure you can probably relate to this, if you're there for no reason, you just start to feel like a fucking loser.
Yeah, I'd rather just watch the show.
Right. So
In
it's
the
like,
audience.
and at one point, dude, okay, so let me backtrack a bit. The lineup of this comedy show was absolutely absurd. Like, potentially the best comedy show ever put on. We were talking about this before we started recording. But so Pete and Jon Stewart hosted it. And then, so obviously they both did their own sets. But dude, then the lineup was just absolutely crazy. It was like Michael Che, Colin Jost, Amy Schumer, Bill Burr, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle,
Tom Segura.
Tom Segura. I'm like forgetting
Wanda
people.
Sykes.
Dude, yeah. Just
Yeah.
John Mulaney.
John Mulaney. Yeah.
Dude, crazy Madison Square Garden, all these people.
It's it's the all-star game of comedy.
Of comedy.
Right now.
Everybody smashed. It was awesome. And forgive me if I'm forgetting any people's names. It's not because they aren't significant, because
Did
there's
Carly Aquilino?
Yep.
do that?
Carly Aquilino, Lynn Koplitz, Colin Quinn.
Oh yeah.
All these people, crazy. Anyway, to my point about being there for no reason, right? Like, I'm Pete's pal. And Pete's green room, in a mixed green room environment where everybody has their own green room, Pete's green room turns into the green room to be in for some reason.
Okay.
So everybody's in there. We're all hanging out. And, you know, I'm just hanging. I'm not doing much. I'm just hanging out, watching the show, having fun, you know, whatever. Chappelle walks up to me and goes, "Good set." And I was like, I wonder how intentional that was. He had definitely been boozing a bit, but like, was he making a point? Is his point there? Why are you here? You know what I mean? I don't know who you are type of thing. Or was he just, maybe this guy went up and I don't know who he is. Or maybe I'm just being funny. And like, you know, he's an easy guy to be around for the most part. He has funny stuff to say. Like, you just sit there and listen to him. But like, I was like, oh, maybe, you know what I mean? To my point, what am I doing back here?
It's impossible not to read so much into those simple 2 words.
Good set.
You know why? I think part of it is that with a guy who of the stature of Dave Chappelle, you just assume that every word that comes from his mouth is intentional.
Right.
That guy is not talking superfluously. He means everything he says. He does not waste his breath. That's what we think.
That's what we think.
Because
He's the greatest.
you just assume that every word that comes from his mouth is gospel. In the same way that when Jesus was walking around, when he was
Right.
like, "May I have some water?" People were like, "Does he mean the world is becoming drier?"
Does he want to make it into wine?
Yeah. I'm sure everyone was like, "What did that mean?" And then they
Yeah.
puzzled over it for decades,
Dude, totally.
if not millennia, really millennia. But with Chappelle, yeah, so I can totally see why that would have tied you in a knot.
I was like, whatever. But I also don't care. Like, fine, whatever. But I wasn't sitting there like bummed out about it. But of course I was thinking about what the fuck was he talking about? Dude, then he proceeded for the next 15 minutes. So Dave Attell, another person on the show, to just tell Dave Attell how he was the greatest comedian of the 90s and why and like telling us these stories about when they were on the road together, opening for people together. Like, you know, it's so cool to be around that.
Yeah.
You sit, you listen, whatever. And he said a couple very memorable, hilarious things. So Chris Rock went up before him. And when the Chris Rock comes out and he kind of just starts, as the audience is cheering for him, he kind of like, you know, looks in one direction, looks in the other direction, sticks his chest out. And Chappelle just looks at the screen. He goes, "We call that sizzling." He goes, "He's the best at it. Look at him." And I was like, that is such an accurate,
cool.
hilarious description for what that is.
That
dude.
is so cool.
Yeah, it was really crazy, dude. Some of the people who were backstage, Serena Williams was just backstage. Didn't go on the stage, was just hanging out backstage. Like a lot of insane things. Dude, then at the end of the show, John Hamm comes backstage and he comes up to us and he's like, "Do you guys know how I get my phone out of this?" John Hamm sat in the audience. They put his phone in a yonder bag. John Hamm wasn't allowed to have his own phone. I'm like, dude, you're John Hamm. Weren't you just like, "I'm John Hamm"? And they're like, okay, like you don't have to do that. So he like couldn't figure out how to get his phone out of the fucking bag. I was
See,
like,
the problem with me is that's where I would have made a stupid dad joke. Like, I don't know, why don't you just ham it up? You know? Oh no.
oh, Bill Burr, your mentor,
Yeah.
also was there.
That's generous. But
smashing. But dude, I don't know. And it's funny how on a night like that, there's always these like side things that emerge. Like in these kind of events, when all the boys go, right? One of our friends always brings a girl. And the girl is usually like, aight, you know what I mean? She's like, doesn't say much. She's nice. She's not like super duper hot usually.
Yeah.
She's just like a nice average girl. So we were joking about how that was going to happen again. So we were like kind of texting, being like, "Oh yeah, so-and-so's coming and he's going to bring like, you know, a cute girl, like a normal, like whatever, like ha ha ha." He shows up with like the hottest girl anybody's ever seen.
wait, who? Can you not tell me?
I don't
Your
want to
friend?
I don't want to throw him under the bus.
Okay,
It's a
okay.
comic. You know him.
All
I
right.
could beep it.
What?
I'll beep it.
Okay.
Don't, because they'll read lips.
It's two. Yeah. No, but it's fine. It's not even that offensive. But dude, he just showed up with like the most beautiful girl and like he knew it. And we all were like, and he would like nod when she wasn't looking. He like knew exactly what was going on.
Was he backstage too?
Yes.
And so I wouldn't want to do that.
So he always gets to bring a girl backstage for some reason. He's the only one with the privileges. He's the only person who always brings a girl backstage and it's never a problem. She's always really nice. And she's usually just like not mainstream looking.
But wouldn't you worry that one of those legends would steal your girl?
Absolutely. But I don't even think he would care. I think he would have accepted. He'd be like, "Listen, she's like way out of my league. It's completely fine
All
at
right.
this point." I don't know.
All right.
Whatever. Whatever. All in all, very fun night. Chappelle always throws these like legendary after parties. That night was not an exception.
Oh, you guys went to the
We went
big
to
after
it.
party? Where was it?
It was at this place called Lure, which I think is some restaurant in Soho.
Okay.
Whole place rented out, open bar, like fucking crazy party, so much fun.
Were there agents and managers there?
Yes, lots of them.
I don't like that.
I hate that too, but dude, this is funny. So an agent that we both know, I don't know why I kept doing this, but you know, you've been drinking, whatever, and like you keep seeing somebody and you sort of like say something real quick and keep it moving. So I was doing that, and I don't know if what I was saying was offensive or not, and tell me what you think. So
Okay.
this agent who we both know very well and who's a lovely person, great agent, has a boyfriend now. And she has never really had a boyfriend in the past, and now she's bringing her boyfriend around. So I met her boyfriend for the first time. We met, whatever. And then like I'd walk past them, and I don't know why I kept doing this. Like I'd say hi to her, and then I'd tap him on the shoulder and be like, "She's a legend." I don't know. Is that fucked up of me? Like if you
Well, I bet you that guy walked away the same way that you walked away from the Chappelle comment. And you're like, what does it mean she's a legend? Has she been getting run train on for the last 30 years? Or is she just a great agent? Is she really good at her job?
right,
you know?
exactly. Like, is there
Is
something?
he fucking with me? Is there, all that?
So, dude, yeah, I don't know if like he was like, "Who the fuck is that guy?" If he's like, "Oh, you're a legend." I don't know.
Yeah.
A legend for some reason can sound bad in that context.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it worked out. I don't know. We had a
That's
good
funny,
night. It was
dude.
fun. It was funny.
That's
Whatever.
great.
Um,
So how late did you stay? Do you have a lot of fun on a night like that?
Yeah. So this was a Sunday night. So it's funny you bring that up. It was a Sunday night. We stayed out very late. And as you know, there's an important element in comedy of sort of being around for extended periods of time. You become familiar with everybody over time. These are your friends, they're your acquaintances, and that's important. You know what I mean? So a night like this, there's something to be cherished about it. Granted, I'm not attempting to fraternize with Chappelle, but it's like, you kind of fraternize with people who are a step above you, 2 steps above you, step below you, and that's sort of how it all works. So, I'm talking to people I maybe didn't know that well. All this stuff is great. However, I get home at 3 a.m. on a Sunday night. My Monday is trash, and that is a bad feeling, and it's hard to like come to terms with that. You know what I mean? It's hard to like balance that night out perfectly so that your Monday isn't shitty.
I have a way to help you with this.
Let's hear it.
I've very much come to the realization that as based on what we do, our weekends are not Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
I stick a weekend in whenever I can find it.
Right.
So often I go on the road. I'm on the road on the weekend in a place that I don't really want to be, living out of my hotel room, working at night, just waiting for the comedy shows, going to bed late. By the time I arrive home on Sunday, midday, afternoon, I've been flying, whatever. I that's a work weekend. You're working all weekend.
Right.
So then, if I want to go play golf on Tuesday at 10 a.m., I don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to
Yeah.
get to the point where I didn't feel guilty about that. If
Yeah.
I want to go out to dinner on a Tuesday night, or if I want to have drinks on a Tuesday, whatever,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll take a Tuesday and I'll take a Thursday if I have to. And I
Right.
get my days for myself where I say, I found my weekend.
Mhm.
It just was floating.
Dude, absolutely. I struggle with it a bit because there's something isolating for me about not feeling part of mainstream society. I like adhering to normal business hours when I can.
It's
So, like,
healthier.
I like being alert and awake in the morning. This idea that my girlfriend's in the other room on calls working, and when she comes in the bedroom, it just smells like hangover. And it's 11:15, and I got my ass up in the air. I'm fast asleep still in my little underwear because I haven't done the laundry. Like my worst pair of underwear, my bright blue briefs, dude, just like looking insane. But no, you're absolutely right, and it's important to. There's a way to sort of like do yourself harm by not giving into the schedule that is important. Like it's important to have energy at night with what we do.
Yeah.
When we're out and about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As you know.
Mhm.
So, it was a fun night, but, too much fun, so now it's midweek. I'm getting back into it. Whatever.
Okay, good. As long as you get back on track.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of
ride
comedy.
the roller coaster nonstop.
Yeah. So I don't know, dude. And also I've been like prepping for a little something, you know what I mean? I've been running a little set, and it keeps getting, the thing I'm supposed to be doing it for keeps getting postponed. And it's so frustrating.
Is this that thing that you were supposed to do a while ago?
Yes. So,
Big thing?
not that necessarily that big,
Hey,
but
it's a big thing. That's a big thing.
big-ish. It was supposed
as
to be,
things go, not small.
it was supposed to be last week. Then it was supposed to be yesterday.
Why haven't we talked about this?
Because it hasn't happened yet.
And you don't want to mention it for fear of mentioning it will cause it to die?
No, jinxing, or if it happens to not work out, I don't need everybody knowing. You know what I mean? Just like certain things go around it where I just don't want to tell people yet. But it's crazy to like be building up to something where you're going to peak like an athlete. You're like playing the US Open series to be ready for the US Open. And then the US Open just keeps getting postponed. And now you got to, you know what I mean? So it sucks. Like, and I've been preparing differently both weeks. And now I'm just kind of like, don't know what to do. So now it's supposed to be next week.
Stay hot. Stay hot.
You got to stay
in
hot,
shape.
right?
You don't have a choice.
Yeah, you're right.
And if,
Keep rolling.
God
with it, right?
forbid, it didn't happen, well, then you would just be hot,
Then you're just, you're right.
which
No,
makes
you're
you
right.
better.
You're right. I mean, it's good. We've talked about this. It's nice to do comedy, building towards a thing. It makes you kind of
Yeah, man. You never know.
focus
Like,
and-
let's say that you decided you really wanted to get in shape because you were in love with this girl and you felt like she would only look at you if you got 6-pack abs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then by the time you put in all this work, you're up at the gym 4 a.m. every single day, month after month. You're eating your lean proteins. You're refusing desserts. You're not even drinking beers. And by 6 months down the road, you're chiseled as hell, at which point you discover that the girl now has a boyfriend, right?
Mhm.
Oh boy, it was all for naught. Except now You're
now
just
Cristiano Ronaldo.
You're just this
Go out.
chiseled piece of stone,
Yeah.
and all these other beautiful babes are now looking your way,
Your life has changed.
and it was worth it.
Which, by the way, wasn't that such a striking moment in the Marty Fish documentary? Seeing how he finally committed to like the fitness and diet aspect and how much of a big difference it made.
Yes, it scared me
Why?
because it made me feel, as Roddick put it, I'd never seen someone do that, flip the switch,
Totally. That late
and
in the
become
game.
this psychopath. And it made me think that everyone operating at that level is a psychopath.
Right. It's like, wow, there's like no joy in this
You
lifestyle.
cannot
He's going to bed at
you're
7:30.
working out like 7 hours a day. You're not seeing your family. Yeah, exactly. Going
Yeah.
to bed at 7:30 p.m., waking up at 4.
Dude, yeah.
Mark Wahlberging.
Yeah, I
your
was
way through
just thinking
life.
that.
Like, what? I really don't want that.
I know. Well, dude, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it in a pair of your favorite bird dogs.
That's the best short for flipping the switch and becoming a total psycho.
Because you can do it all, dude. You can wake up and work out in them. You can then jump in the pool to do your, water aerobics. You can then dry off and eat lunch while still wearing them, and then go and play with your kids wearing the same pair of shorts. If you want, you can even wear them to bed.
Yeah, that's it. For a balanced life, bird dog shorts, there's nothing else to try.
No substitute.
They've got their joggers now, which are sick as all hell.
They're beautiful.
I love their pants, built-in underwear liner, super comfortable, incredible product. We love the bird dogs. We always have. Go to birddogs.com is where you're going. Promo code oops. You'll get something. We don't know what it is,
It's going to be cool.
but you're going to love it, and you're going to love your things you're buying. Pants, shorts, joggers, birddogs.com, promo code oops. Get them today.
All of it. How do you feel about an email?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. This one is called Breakup Advice /urine/Francis's voice.
Oh boy.
Lots to unpack here.
I'm curious about what people think of my voice. Sometimes I'll listen to the podcast. I don't really know. I don't hate it. I don't love it.
Everyone says that you should do ASMR. You know what that is?
Yes.
Where you
But that
like,
surprises me because I don't think it's a soothing voice.
It definitely
it
is.
definitely is.
Mine?
Yeah.
You have a soothing voice. You talk slowly.
Yeah.
I do talk slowly. Well, I feel like anyone could have an ASMR voice if they just
I feel like
slowed
we
it
both
down.
have good voices, dude.
I think yours is.
I think I have a good voice. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to be one of the rare people who's ever said that about themselves.
Wow.
I like my voice.
Yeah, but I would have said that. No doubt. I don't think it's not so clear with me.
I see it is clear to me as an onlooker
Mm.
and a listener.
Yeah.
to
Same.
your
That's very
voice.
sweet. That's very kind of
You're
you
welcome,
guys.
Francis. I love the pod. Okay, anyway, I just recently broke up with my boyfriend of 5 years. Dude, it's so funny how scared people are of Francis. Hey guys, I love your podcast. Francis is like, fuck you. Okay, I just recently broke up with my boyfriend of 5 years. I'm currently 23 and I've not been single since I was 18 years old. What tips or tricks do you have for being single again after you've been out of the game for a while? It's a very good question. So there's a couple questions in this, and I think we can attack them one at a time, but I'm going to read the email. How's that sound, Francis?
Yeah, nice.
Okay. Also, how do you deal with not knowing what your ex is up to? I know I broke up with him, but I miss our friendship. It sucks to not only lose your boyfriend, but also your best friend, of course. I've never had a dating app, so I'm really out of touch with the single life since it's been 5 years. Also, I wanted to mention that I work in a lab and we low-key judge people who fill up the whole entire urine cup. Thank you. Confirming our suspicions. We talked about this a few weeks ago. I knew. Just filling that fucking thing up. Here you go. You just
Got any more back there?
handed him a beer, dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
fucking get out of here. We've seen
beer's good.
we've seen so many gross colors of urine: red, orange, purple, green, etc. It's a competition to show everyone in the lab the weirdest urine color that you received that day. Okay, does anyone else think that Francis's voice kind of sounds like Will Ferrell sometimes, or is it just me, sincerely lost and confused? Will Ferrell, I don't hear it. Chris, no.
I've gotten Woody Harrelson. I've gotten Owen Wilson, but I think a lot of people get that. And then whenever I do TikTok stuff, people say that I sound like some video gamer who's big.
Oh, yeah. What's that guy's name again? Fuck yeah. They always say you look like. They say I sound like the New Girl guy, and they say
Nick Miller. I
Yeah,
think?
everyone says Nick Miller vibes about me, and about you, they say some video game guy.
Tifu. Is
Yes,
Yeah.
that- yeah.
Tifu,
Who's Tifu?
He's just a gamer,
gamer, bro.
big
Okay.
gamer. He makes a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean all those guys.
All those kids do.
Yeah.
Billionaires, probably.
Okay, let's attack this one at a time. There's a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff here. So, being single after you've been out of the game for a while, it's amazing how much of a thing that is, dude. It makes me think of the Shawshank Redemption when the guy gets out of jail after being in prison for 50 years and he has no idea how to conduct himself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like an element of that with getting out of a relationship. You forget what it's like to be single.
I think, yeah, exactly. You have thoughts?
So, I mean, my only thought is I think it's harder for a guy potentially than it is for a girl. This girl's a 23-year-old hot girl. Like, just go be hot. That's all you have to do. You know what I mean? Like, there's not really anything else to do. Go be hot in the world and you'll meet guys and stuff, you know?
Yeah. My thought is that there is no answer to this question. One size does not fit all. Anyone who tries to prescribe a rebound path for you, whether you've been broken up with or whether you did the breaking up, you could be somebody who really benefits from all of a sudden stretching your limbs and getting out there and having casual sex with tons of people, going on 3 dates a week, whatever, you know, until you finally get tired of that and realize you want some connection and some consistency, and you try to find, you know, the right person to spend more time with. Or you could be somebody who, having only been accustomed to sleeping with one person or dating one person for 5 years, needs to kind of ease back into it a little bit more. And that could mean just be comfortable taking it slow. You are the master of your own, you know, cruise control. You get to set your vibe. And if that means you want to go on 6 dates before you're sure, or not, you know, go on 5 dates and not hook up with the person, whatever. You don't owe anyone anything. You don't even owe it or need it of yourself, right? To get out there and get back on the horse. And,
yeah. So yeah, this is valuable. Like, there, of course, it's not one size fits all. There's a lot of different ways to do it. But knowing what we know, 23-year-old girl, right? When you're 23, you're still riding off of the residuals of the best social moments of your life. When you're 22, you have 700 friends. You're all hanging out together all the time. You know, there's going to be a lot of good social moments. Like, just enjoy being single in that moment. You know what I mean? Like, go try to have fun as best you can, even though you're a little bummed out. And good things are bound to happen. And when you're ready, things will progress as they should.
Yeah.
But yeah, just go be hot. Like, if you're concerned about getting out there, that's, in my opinion, the trick.
It's also entirely fine to not focus on dating after a breakup.
Yeah,
just
totally.
take a minute and think about, okay, well, what do I want to do?
Right.
Well, maybe that's travel. Maybe
do
it's
you, as they say.
Maybe it's get in shape. Maybe it's read. You know, you've got time to devote 100% of your life to yourself. When you're in a relationship, you are thinking about another person.
Yeah.
And their needs, you know, whatever, half the time. And now, you know, you can do whatever you want. So that may mean travel, self-improvement, whatever the hell it is. It doesn't have to be like, okay, now I have to navigate the dating world again.
Right,
get used to that. Like, what am I going to do?
Totally. Dude, 100%. As far as the not knowing what your ex is up to question, this is sort of like addiction in my mind, because it's like after a couple weeks, you're not going to give a fuck anymore what he's up to. But by finding out once what he's up to, it's like having that first drink when you're sober. You know what I mean? All of a sudden you're just right back to square one. So just avoid all temptation and check in on him. Like you said, you broke up with him. Hopefully he's out there flourishing. He's probably really bummed out. And you guys will both be fine. You're not going to give a shit.
And you owe him the courtesy of not reaching out to him, I would say.
Interesting.
Because she said he was my best friend. Well,
Right,
I get
right.
that, but you broke up with him. And
Right.
if you send a warm, in your mind, friendship text, there's no chance that he's not misreading that.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
no chance, even if it says, hey, hope you're well, how are things? Which is the most sterile nonsense. He's going to read that in your sweetest whispered
Hi,
voice.
my little kumquat.
Yeah, he's gonna source from his friends, like, what did she mean? Why didn't she use punctuation? All of this, you know, she sent it at this time of day. That's typically right after she does her hot yoga, which means she was probably in an open mind point of view. I'm telling you, people
Letting
are
the universe
crazy.
come to her.
They are not operating correctly after a breakup. So
Hilarious.
you owe him and you owe each other true separation.
Yeah, agreed. Good luck. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Have fun. Good luck with the dark colored pee. Cool. Well, dude, fucking that's a good episode of Oops the Pee.
There it is.
We love
Oh,
you
the
all.
pee.
Oh, the pee. We love you guys. We're gonna start doing some live stuff soon-ish. Keep your ears open for us hopefully coming to a city near you eventually. We're gonna start rolling them out slowly. It's gonna be cool. I'm at Not Julio. He's at Francis CCLS. Check out his Patreon. You got anything else to add?
Got Albany and Hartford coming right on up now. FrancisEllis.com for tickets. That's October 20th and 21st.
Dude, I think my mom's coming to see you in Connecticut.
No, she's not.
She's like really excited.
What a lovely thing
I
to
know.
do.
Is
Is your dad going to come?
She's trying to convince him.
Should I bring him a cheesecake?
You should, yeah. You should. Dude, and she's like, where? I was like, Mom, I'm sure I can like set up tickets for you. She's like,
Yeah, I got them.
yeah.
got
So
them.
keep your eyes peeled for them. And that's it. We'll see you guys next time.